Hello everyone and welcome along to Arsenal Fan TV. Today, going to be taking a look at our game this Sunday against Chelsea in the Community Shield. Should be a fantastic game for both Arsenal and Chelsea, two of the best teams in the country, going head to head to give us a taster of what we could potentially be in for this season. Arsenal go into the game following a rather successful pre-season, it's to say the least, having picked up the Emirates Cup not so long ago and having had a successful tour of Asia, having won the Barclays Asia Trophy. A fantastic achievement for Arsenal. Of course, they are only pre-season trophies, can't base too much on them going into the actual season itself, but to get morale within the squad, to get that winning mentality within the team, going into a season which we need to start well in, certainly this is going to be a big bonus to this Arsenal side. And if we were to collect the Community Shield, do the pre-season treble as it's being labelled, it would be an excellent start to what hopefully will be a fruitful campaign for Arsenal. Looking at Chelsea, they've enjoyed a fairly turbulent pre-season. They've had a couple of good results, a couple of poor results, but nonetheless their quality has shone through, and they recently beat Barcelona. It was only on penalties, but Eden Hazard performed spectacularly throughout that game. They did pick up a couple of injuries, saying that they did get an injury to Diego Costa, who could possibly be out of the game. The same goes for Gary Cahill, although I am still waiting to hear whether those two players will be fit to play in the game. I think Mourinho mentioned in his press conference this morning that they could possibly play the game, but I think he could be looking to keep his best players fit, considering he'll have one eye on the opening fixture of the Barclays Premier League. But nonetheless, Chelsea are a force to be reckoned with. Going into the season as Premier League champions, they're going to be looking to claim that title once more. And this game, even though you could label it as a friendly, it's going to be nothing but that. Two sides that are going to be battling out tooth and nail to win the Premier League this coming season. It's going to be an excellent game for all fans. It should be an amazing spectacle. Of course, both teams got some absolute quality on show. Chelsea, through the likes of Eden Hazard, Diego Costa, I don't think I need to mention their danger men. We saw last season quite how fantastic and emphatic that Chelsea were going up top with the likes of, like I mentioned, Hazard and Costa, but also Willian, Oscar, Fabregas, etc. A very complete defence with the partnership of John Terry and Gary Cahill, as well as young Kurt Zouma coming through. They have, of course, lost Felipe Luis back to Atletico Madrid, and this is one area of Chelsea's game where I think they could potentially lose the title at some point. Ivanovic is their only recognised right back, and left back, Azpilicueta is their only recognised left back, and they've only got three centre-halves in Zouma, Cahill and Terry. If they were to pick up a couple of injuries in defence, that could potentially be crucial to their success in the Premier League season. Of course, the transfer window isn't over. We're yet to see who they bought in. Of course, looking at some of the business they have done this summer, they have bought in Radamel Falcao, who could potentially rejuvenate his career at Chelsea. He's done well throughout the pre-season. That doesn't really mean anything though, and I'm yet to see how he's going to perform in this Premier League campaign. I think he'll do better at Chelsea than he has done at United. I think Mourinho knows him better than Van Gaal did after watching him in La Liga. I think he's going to have a better career there, and I think he could potentially link up very well with Diego Costa, considering they did spend time together at Atletico Madrid. And I think if they can get the best out of him, then they've got some excellent striking options up top with through Diego Costa, through Falcao and through Loic Remy. So it's a very exciting Chelsea team attacking wise this season. Of course, they did also sign Asmir Begovic from Stoke City to replace Petr Cech, and let's just talk about this for a moment. Petr Cech playing against Chelsea at Wembley, an excellent opportunity for him, and it just makes this game that little bit tastier. Thoroughly looking forward to seeing how he'll perform against his former employers, and to make his official debut in, going to be an amazing performance from him, you would hope. But getting away from that for just a minute, I mean, looking at Arsenal, I've mentioned Chelsea just then. I think this is a great opportunity for us to pick up another piece of silverware and go into the season on a high. We beat Manchester City by 3-0 at Wembley last season to start off our season very well. Of course, we didn't really bring that kind of form into the campaign itself. Of course, one thing we're blessed with going into this season is that we've got barely any injuries within the squad. I mean, the only players that I can think of note that are going to be out of this game are Tomasz Rosicky, Danny Welbeck, and of course Alexis Sanchez is still on cup duty. David Ospina will probably miss the game as well. But we've got a very nourished squad. It's a very exciting team that I'd like to see us play. Well, I predict that we'll play anyway. Of course, we've got Alex Iwobi coming through. We've got Jeff coming through. It's a very exciting Arsenal squad that we've got on our hands at the moment. And if we were able to bring in a player of Benzema's calibre, then we could definitely go head to head with Chelsea next season. And this game is just going to give us an idea how to do that. Like I said, this game's not going to be friendly in any way, shape or form. Both teams really going to be going at it. Mourinho will not want to lose that record that he's got over Wenger, and it's about time that Wenger, quite frankly, did one over on Mourinho, which I would hope we can do this Sunday at Wembley. looking at the Arsenal team, it's really hard to predict what team I want to play. I mean, it depends how seriously we're going to take this game. If we're going to take it seriously, I want us to play our strongest 11, and I would hope that we take it seriously. I really want us to beat Chelsea, get morale going within the squad, and go into that game against West Ham the following week on a high. So the Arsenal team that I want to see start this game is Petr Cech, Bellerin, Koscielny, Mertesacker, Nacho Monreal, Francis Coquelin, Santi Cazorla, Theo Walcott, Mesut Ozil, Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain and Olivier Giroud. For me, without Alexis Sanchez being in the squad, that is the strongest possible lineup we can play. And although it is so difficult to leave Aaron Ramsey and Jack Wilshere out of the squad, as well as leaving other great players out of the squad like Debuchy, Gibbs, etc., Gabriel, Chambers, it just shows how replenished our squad is at the moment. It is very hard to leave the two players I just mentioned out, Ramsey and Wilshere. I want both of these players to feature in the game at some point, come off the bench at half time. I want to see Ramsey get a lot of minutes in this game. I want to see him potentially come on for Santi Cazorla at half time. He's the one player that I want to see feature in this Arsenal team a lot next season if he is to stay injury free. But Cazorla for me was so pivotal to our squad last season. He played so well in that pivot with Francis Coquelin. I can't drop him for this game, and I think that he's got to play. Another option you could do is play Aaron Ramsey or Jack Wilshere out on the right-hand side, but personally, I think this is a game where we've got to go into with pace on the flanks to exploit this weakened Chelsea defence. I would personally like to see Walcott and Chamberlain on the flanks. That's going to be so much pace going forward, and possibly Jack Wilshere on the right at some point in the game. I think he does a better job on the right-hand side than Aaron Ramsey does, but Ramsey, I must stress, I do want to see him feature in this game, and I want to see him feature heavily throughout the season. He was pivotal to that game against Lyon where we beat them 6-0. Yeah, you can't take a lot from that game, but he's been exquisite throughout the pre-season. I'd like to think that he can bring that into the campaign itself. Of course, last season, towards the back end, he started to play a lot better than he had done. He had a rather rough campaign, which was blighted by injuries, and he was inconsistent throughout. I'd like to see him getting a few more goals next season, running the midfield, playing that Steven Gerrard kind of role. I think that it should be a very exciting season for Aaron Ramsey and Jack Wilshere if both these players are to stay fit. But it just shows how well our team is doing at the moment, that we've got three exceptional players in Wilshere, Ramsey and Cazorla all fighting it out for one spot within the side. Our team is looking so healthy at the moment, and if we're able to bring in another striker, possibly bring in another central defensive midfielder to play second fiddle to someone like Coquelin, this can be a very exciting season for us. But this game against Chelsea should give us an idea of just where we stand going into the 2015-16 Premier League season. I'm really looking forward to the game. It should be a great day out at Wembley. My score prediction for the game is a 2-1 win to Arsenal. It's going to be a very closely contested match, but I think we've got what it takes to come through this game as winners and go into that season with that all-important high that I mentioned. Anyway guys, leave your score predictions in the comments box below. Be sure to like the video if you've enjoyed it, subscribe to Arsenal Fan TV, and do make sure to check out my own channel, AFC Game by Game, and I'll speak to you very soon guys.